Hello guys, and welcome to another Bojan vlog. Wow, when was the last time I did an entry in my car? This is definitely something that I haven't done recently, I'm not used to. But I thought that, well, I would change it up, I suppose, you know. So anyway, hope you guys are doing well. Today I wanted to talk about just making sure it's recording. I want to talk about love, you know, because when I'm in a space of love, I want to talk about love, right? Because love is one of the most important things to me, and I also think it's really important as a light worker or as anyone on the conscious journey to continually have, you know, these reminders of love, you know, these loving reminders, so that we can get back to a space of healing, you know. And so, and I want to kind of like, I guess, yeah, you know, the specific thing I want to talk about today is hunger versus love, right? That's going to be the title of this entry. And what I mean by this is basically, I did an entry, I think it was 2 entries ago, where I talked about desire and how like we came down into this 3D existence to experience the duality of desire and unfulfillment, let's just say, or like fulfillment and unfulfillment, and desire is like kind of the driving force behind that. And I thought that like a nice little analogy towards that is would be like the analogy of hunger, right? So desire is a lot like hunger. You know, hunger is ultimately a subset of desire, right? Hunger is, you know, physical hunger is the body's kind of signal to you that it needs to be fed, right? So what hunger creates within you is a polarity, right? Which is something I talked about in that entry. It creates a polarity that is basically, so like in today's world, right? If you live in a developed world, then you know, we're lucky because like when we're hungry, then we can just go to like a store, you know, or like a restaurant, and we can satiate that hunger, right? And so like, you know, to you, like when you get hungry, you know, you are completely within your ability to go somewhere and to satiate that hunger, right? But let's say that, okay, and like I don't know if you had this experience, but I definitely have. Like, let's say that you order a meal to be delivered to your home, right? And also, I apologize if it's a bit dark. It's like just the lighting ambience is not that great, but yeah, you know, getting back into like this kind of a setting after a long time, but yeah, like let's say you order a meal to be delivered to your home, right? And you're waiting for this order, and it doesn't come for whatever reason. Like you know, I've had it in my experience where like I basically like it was because I fucking like I misplaced my phone and it was in silent mode, and so I missed the guy's call, like buzzing my doorbell, and like I ordered the meal at some ungodly hour, like it was like right when they were closing, and so the guy like I think was probably there for at least 10-15 minutes, right? And like he obviously left, you know, and I got an email like, you know, like a minute or two after that saying, yeah, the driver tried to like, you know, deliver the meal, but like there was no answer. And I'm like, and like in that moment, right, I'd ordered this meal because I was really hungry, right? In that moment, like you're like, in that moment, you're like, you don't even care that it's your fault, right? In that moment, it was my fault, right? Because I'd fucking like, obviously, it was my fault that my phone was in silent mode somewhere and I didn't get the guy's call, right? But in that moment, I was like, I didn't care because I was hungry and I was starving and I was pissed off, you know? I was like, I wanted to like blame someone and like, you know, the injustice you feel, right? And that's what hunger does to you, right? That is what desire does to you. And like that's the kind of thing that you, that's a bit of like an addition on the idea that I gave in that entry, is that, yeah, you know, the duality that you feel, or rather the duality that is spawned from hunger, from desire, is this continual kind of rat race that we all have to go through, you know. And like, if you are a light worker, or like, you know, a conscious person, of course, if you're watching this, you like pretty much are, you know, like there's no doubt, there's pretty much no doubt, you know, then you intuitively know this, even if like perhaps like you know, other people out there, you know, sensitive people, like, may not have found an articulation for themselves for this thing. You feel intuitively that like there is this endless chase, you know, there is this endless pursuit towards something all the time, and that is what ultimately fuels a lot of shit that goes on in the physical realm, right? But you also intuitively feel something else, which is a bit of an outlier, you know, and that is love. And that's why you're here. It's why I'm here. It's why we're all here, you know. Anyone who's undergoing a journey. Whether or not, like, love was the original kind of impetus, you know, like, is really not that relevant. Or rather, like, it's like, but like, as long as you're on a journey, at some point, you reach a point where, like, love becomes something very important to you, right? And love is just that, you know. I've done many entries about love, or my kind of treatment of love, because love is one of those words that you can just throw everywhere. I'm loving it, you know. So like, it's just one of those things that like everyone throws around, but like, you know, can we be sure what they really mean? And yeah, you know, it's a slippery slope, you know, this idea of love. But I have talked about love in my entries, and what I like to think about love is that it is first and foremost a feeling. So there is a feeling of love that inspires you to do things, that radiate this warmth, you know. It's like whenever I do one of these types of entries, you know, a lot of my entries are kind of like rants, you know, like, or like, you know, a lot of like, you know, hardcore information coming your way. But like, whenever I do an entry where I'm feeling inspired to like, to share some warmth with whoever's watching, or like recently, I have been doing I've been doing some music. So like, I think, you know, I kind of forgot to do this, but like, I was going to put something at the intro, so I think I'm going to. So like, the thing you watched at the beginning of this entry was just a little snippet of like something I made recently, you know, and like that's something that I've been doing. So, you know, that making that piece of music, you know, and like, you know, in general, the type of music that like I want to make, you know, on that channel, on my new channel, it's just indescribable to me, you know. It's like, obviously, life is not all about love, you know. So love, to me, aside from being this wonderful feeling that we feel, when just like it just takes over you, and like all you want to do is to do what you were put on this earth to do, to sing your song, to dance your dance, to paint your painting, to like create, to champion your cause, you know. That is what love is. It is this feeling. But like, ultimately, feeling love is the ultimate evidence of oneness. I believe people such as Teal Swan have made that statement, and because it's true, right? Love is the first and the last, ultimately, you know. It's the alpha and the omega, and the alpha omega, right? It is this, you know, I don't know if, like, don't quote me on this, but like Christian, I believe, you know, obviously because Jesus was coined the Alpha and Omega, right? But or God. But like the Alpha and Omega is kind of a piece of symbolism that points to the infinite nature of certain things, of God, you know. And love is ultimately the Alpha and Omega of oneness, you know, in that like it is ultimately the ultimate evidence of oneness, because we were born with love. Love is the thing that is constant. You know, people say love is constant, you know, love is all that there is, or that there ever will be. You know, love is the ultimate answer, you know, like, there's, like, you know, people say these things, and, like, the reason they say it is because love is, was, and always will be with you. Because love is where is the source that we all spring from, right? And that's what makes it fucking weird, because we live in a world of hunger, right? And this is like, you know, obviously moving into like why I entitled this entry, Hunger versus Love. We are a hungry species. We are hungry entities. We entered this existence to be hungry. That is what desire ultimately is, right? It is this continual hunger towards, you know, towards some relief, some goal, some degree of satisfaction, right? We came here to like fulfill ourselves, right? And in order to fulfill ourselves, or desire is the hunger that fuels that movement towards, you know, satisfying ourselves, fulfilling ourselves, right? And so we are a hungry species, and like a hungry, like, we're 3D beings. We came here to experience hunger, right? So in that entry I talked about how desire is, I talked about desire, you know, it is, well, ultimately, like, we came here to fulfill ourselves, right? And like in that entry I was kind of very gung-ho about like the idea I had about desire, and like, oh yeah, you know, we should, you know, champion, we should like fulfill our desires. You know, we came here to do that, you know, like we came here to experience that, so we might as well fulfill it, right? And that is true, but also like it is a fact that it is unending, or rather like there is no ultimate fulfillment, if you will. You know, it's like, well, this is where things get a bit sketchy, because like, you know, how do we know? Like, how do I know? Like, maybe there is an ultimate fulfillment, but like, to an extent, there is at least a feeling of like, you know, this is ongoing. You know, you have a desire, you fulfill it, and then you have a new desire, and then you fulfill that, and then you have a new desire. You know, at the very least, right? You know, like, about the only control we have on our own lives is to fulfill ourselves. You know, like we can try our best, and obviously, like, you know, as we succeed in a physical sense, like, you know, the responsibility falls on us to then help fellow human beings fulfill their desires and their dreams. But like, about pretty much like the best you can do is to fulfill yourself first, and then to fulfill whoever, like, you know, whoever else resonates with the kind of, you know, path that you're on, right? But like ultimately, like, you know, well, it's also something that's been said that, like, you know, enlightenment, individual enlightenment is not real enlightenment, or like it is not total enlightenment, right? Total enlightenment is the enlightenment of all that exists in this 3D existence, you know, or in this universe, right? That is ultimate fulfillment. Anyway, I'm getting a bit too deep here, like, for the scope of this entry, but like, in any case, we are hungry beings, you know, like, we came here to be hungry, to desire. And so, like, there is a degree of, like, continually chasing things, you know. And yes, like, you know, I feel it, we all feel it. It's like, sometimes it feels like a bit pointless. It feels like, why am I doing this, you know? But in those moments where like you kind of break, you know, like the egoic meltdown, you know, for example, like I did an entry called the egoic meltdown. It's quite funny. I guess also like quite raw and real, because I genuinely like had an egoic meltdown, you know. Um, but like in those moments when your ego breaks, you come back to love, right? Because love is weird, right? In the sense that like it's unlike everything that we that we experience in this reality of acquisition and striving, and you know, and like desire, and like you know, and moving forwards, and that kind of thing, right? Because like that's the kind of energy, that's the kind of paradigm that we are instilled with in our everyday lives, pretty much. You know, like our society is predicated on like, you know, hey, look at this new gadget, you know, hey, look at like this is the newest spiritual concept, and like, you know, like this is like, you know, this is, check out these clothes, you know, check out this stuff, you know. And it's like new stuff, it's novelty. Novelty is what attracts us, right? And so like for most of our waking life, you know, we spend it basically like lusting after things, and like chasing after things, and striving after things, and feeling shit because we don't have them, right? Because like I said, hunger is great when you satiate it, but when you don't, you fucking hate yourself. You know, and that's hunger. That's the 3D reality, right? And and love is completely different, because love is not part of that striving world, you know. Love is that feeling that just creeps up on you. You don't know where the fuck it came from, you know. It's like it's you know, it's like all of a sudden you're overtaken by love, you know. I have had this happen to me many times, you know. Just you feel terrible because, you know, you're in this kind of rat race, right? And you know, ultimately you struggle, and then you struggle, and then at some point you kind of like run out of juice, and you feel love once again, right? Love, you would think, is something that comes from you fulfilling your desire. So like you could argue that satiating your hunger is love, you know, and I wouldn't argue with you, because like, yeah, you feel amazing, like, you know, whether it be that you eat that meal, you know, that delicious meal, or that you like you meet like the partner of your dreams, your soulmate, or like you know, you make like a kick-ass fucking product, you know, you make a kick-ass piece of art, you know, like you like you get your business to a successful level, you know, whatever it might be, like that victory, that is love, you know. I wouldn't argue with you on that. And but the thing is that like that kind of love is like is always comes with strings attached, right? Because on the other side of that love is like pain and misery and disappointment, you know. And but we have no choice but to experience it, you know. Like that's what we're here to experience. Like I said, you know, it's like we opted into this to a degree, you know. But then there's love, right? And like love is easily forgotten. It's kind of coy, you know, it's easily forgotten. And once you've lost sight of love, it can be difficult to get back to. Not because love itself is difficult, right? So that's the fucked up thing about it. That's the really crazy thing, is that like love, my face is really dark. Well, hey, love is always there. You know, love is the thing behind the flesh, behind the words, behind the actions, behind the identity, behind the thoughts, behind the positions, behind like all of that stuff, behind whatever is going on out here or in here, you know, even in here, right, is love. Love is oneness. Love is the unified source from which we all project from, right? So love is always there. And so like, it's not that love is difficult to find, it's that we begin to think that love is difficult to find, if that makes sense. That's the trippy part about love, right? You know, so like you might have heard, and I've probably talked about this before, like that there are two different types of strength, or like discipline, I suppose, right? One is striving, you know, and we're all familiar with this, you know. I got to get more money. I got to get more. I got to get some food. I got to, you know, get into a relationship. I need this. I need that. I need to become a successful musician. I need to become a successful entrepreneur. I need this. I need that. I need that. Right? Striving. I can't have this. I need to have it. You know, it's what our consumer like ideals are built upon, right? Well, I say ideals, like more like society, I suppose. But like, yeah, that's striving. The second one is letting go, right? Or allowing, you know. And that's the one that is harder, but like in a super ironic way, right? Because striving makes sense. It makes fucking sense, right? I want a new phone. I'm gonna work until I can get one. Oh, I've got my new phone now, great. But now I've got all of these things, right? But I'm lonely, so you go and get some friends, right? You get some friends, you get a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then you realize, oh shit, like I've got, you know, it's great that I have all of this support, you know, and I've got like, you know, a partner who can, you know, like, you know, we can sleep together and, you know, and cuddle and all of this amazing stuff. But like, I feel like maybe they don't respect me as much as they should. And maybe like, that means that I need to like double down on like my career and like my art or like my business, right? So like, it makes sense. It's like, I want this, I must strive to get this, I may not get it, but like, it's all part of the journey, right? So the hero's journey is another way of articulating this whole striving thing, right? It is the typical masculine, like, level of consciousness that like all of us understand, you know, because our society is built on it, right? But then there's this other thing, letting go, love, you know, and that is fucking hard for a lot of people, including myself, to be honest with you, because like it's like backwards, right? Because you are love. Everyone, everything is love, right? It's as simple as clicking a switch and you will feel love, right? But can you drop all of your striving bullshit? Can you drop your desire to be masterful, popular, attractive, you know, safe, you know, well-fed? Can you drop all of that and realize that like you need to drop it so that you can remember love, right? That's why it's difficult, you know. And plus it's boring, love, right? If you wanna put it like, you know, this is something that, you know, light workers like struggle with. It's like, you know, we understand the importance of love, like it's the reason we do anything, but it's boring, you know, like, because it's always there. But what does it do? Does it access the internet? Does it make me more attractive to the opposite sex? You know, does it make me more knowledgeable? You know, does it put me ahead of my competition? No, it's just love. It's just love. And like, we live in a reality of novelty, right? So like, love is boring, right? And it's boring, but like, based on like how many fucking people like you know, smoke the marijuana, it's obvious that people want to experience it, right? So like, rain. So anyway, I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but like, really I just wanted to kind of talk about, you know, my latest thoughts, and like also just to remind whoever's watching this of love that exists in your heart, right? One of the things, of course, that I talk about incessantly, recently in particular, is, as I've been experiencing it myself, is that love is not all that there is. Love is what set us on this journey, because we were like, the world is so devoid of love. I want to be one of those people who champions it, right? Or you're the kind of person who stumbled onto this journey like because you were like fucking like angry and just like fed up with like how things were done, and like, and you wanted something different. And then somewhere along the way you found like, you found this community, or you found these ideas, or you found this art, or this person, or whatever it might be, who showed you how precious of a gift love and stillness are. Like, whatever the case, love is just within arm's reach. It's not even within arm's reach. It's like, it's right there. It is you, right? And like, that is not to say you have to be loving all the time. This is not an ultimatum. None of my entries are fucking ultimatums. I'm just some random idiot. Yay, self-esteem for the win. I'm joking. Like, I'm just a person, like the same as you, same as anyone else, right? So like, what I say is true for me, and what you know is true for you, right? But like, I'm just speaking from my experience, which is that like, there are these life, you will have to learn how to deal with life, because guess what? You're going to have to pay your bills. You're going to have to like learn how to deal with and get along with people, and to like, form friendships, and then like, plan your life, and you're going to have to make sure you have enough money. You're going to have to like learn skills so that you can become good at what you do. I'm practicing piano every day pretty much. You have to think about how to be competitive. You need to like be on the lookout for new trends, which is something I never used to do. But like now I'm like, hey, like the world is changing so quickly now. I better like keep up with trends in like technology and like platforms and things of that nature, And like, aside from that, you need to think about, okay, like, what do I want to do, What do I want? If I see this hot girl or like this hot guy and I want to approach them, do I do it? Or like, if I want to be more attractive, do I do it? Like, if I want to go somewhere on holiday that I've always wanted to go, do I do it? If I want to learn a skill, a new language, do I do it? And like, there's all these fucking considerations, right? And that's life. You gotta do shit in life. Because like, if it's anything like I myself had to learn like the hard way that like, you gotta do stuff, right? It's like, I'm lucky in that like, I kind of like I managed to like kind of like go like get onto my journey and things like that. But like, if there's one thing that I have been learning all these years, it's like, I gotta do stuff. I gotta be good at stuff. I've gotta like always keep on top of things, life, man, like we're all tired, and we're all like, yeah, but like the thing is that hunger is not all there is to life either, right? Love is there, and when love hits you, it's like amazing, because you remember that like you came here to like make stuff that would move people to tears. You wanted to heal people and feel their energy like blossom and bloom until like it fills the whole room. You wanted to tell stories that would light up people's eyes and give them those goosebump feelings and open their hearts up. You wanted to facilitate things that otherwise wouldn't be possible, or like, people who have problems, and you're the one who can fix them, and like you feel so inspired when you see those people and you hear from them words of appreciation and gratitude for what you've done for them, and you're like, you're like in your mind, like, you didn't have to thank me because I was moving in love, oh, like, hey, thank you guys, like, oh yeah, I'm so sick, man, I did this shit. It's like, no, that may make sense from a hunger perspective, right, from a physical perspective, where like everything has to be for a reason, capitalism, profit, whatever you want to call it, business. But when you do something for love, it's like, it don't even matter, man. Like, it really doesn't matter. Like, you don't want to be compensated. You don't care. Like, either way. So, like, that's why people say, that love is the ultimate evidence of oneness, because it dissolves all need for polarity. There's no longer me and you. Like, none of that matters, you know? Why did I spend like a whole week sleeping like maybe an average of like 4 hours like a night making this piece of art, and it was killer, and I was sleep deprived, and I like at the end of it I probably was slightly anemic, right? But it didn't matter, because as soon as it came out, the love was there, and it was an expression of my love. And it doesn't matter who made it, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's accepting it. It doesn't matter anything. All that matters is love. Love is all that there is, all that there was, and all that there ever will be. Like I said, it's not all that there is. Life is also hard. But like, you get the picture, right? You know, I just wanted to kind of like, the reason I say what I say is never an ultimatum is because, yeah, you know, like, you will have hard times. I will continue to have hard times. It is a feature of this life that we're living as physical beings, right? So like, yeah, if you don't want to take anything from this entry, you know, you don't have to, you know, like, really, like, don't. I'm a fucking idiot for all you know, like, basically. Anyway, I kind of have to go, so let me wrap this up. Anyway, so cool. I thought that I would just give a little perspective, and I would like to do more of these entries, because you know what? One kind of very, like, pragmatic way of saying, saying something about what we, like, workers have to bring to the table is we are champions of love. In the job sense, right? It's fucking amazing to do things for love, because, like I said, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're doing something for love, it really does not matter the reason. It doesn't matter, like, what happens, because you're being moved by love, right? And love just unifies everything, and erases all boundaries and all, like, needs for, like, understanding and analysis and, like, all of this fucking, like, mental, like, masturbation. And yet, it's not all that exists. So allow yourself to be angry. Allow yourself to be like dark and like suicidal and depressed and in despair and jealous and relapse. Relapse all the fuck you want. But remember that love is something you come back to, right? It's something you come back to, and it's something that we champion, right? Some people like to talk about big booty hoes and getting that paper. You know, that's their thing, you know, or building a giant skyscraper dick into the air. That's their thing, right? But for me and you, light workers, we're here to inspire love. That's our job, right? So again, allow yourself the darkness, but also remember that you are a champion of love. So cool. I need to go, so I will leave you on that note. I hope you guys are having a great day, and as always, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next entry. Peace out. Whoosh.